Oh, and we're live. Welcome back, everybody, to Beyond the ToolBelt episode 289. I'm your host, Ty Kyle Backer. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday edition, and we will be back right after our short intro from our sponsors.
TC Backer. Roofing, siding, windows, gutter, solar. Roofing, siding, windows, gutter, solar. TC Backer.
Is your lead flow down? Whether you're a company owner, office staff, salesperson, or installer, you're a roofing rock star. We help you get more leads with custom SEO, Google Ads, and a pro website.
Welcome to Behind the ToolBelt, where the stories are bold, the conversations are real, and the insights come to you live, raw, and uncut. Every week, host Ty Cobb Backer sits down to bring you the stories, the struggles, the lessons learned, and the wins. No filters, no scripts, just the truth. Please welcome your host of Behind the ToolBelt, Ty Cobb Backer.
I feel like there should be like an applause there, like a background, you know.
There
Okay.
was.
Oh, I heard it. I heard it in my head. Yeah, people laughing at me. No, I'm very paranoid. I feel like they were laughing at me.
Yeah.
It's a good intro song. Okay. Well, welcome back. Welcome back. We're almost approaching the 300 mark. 300 episodes.
Wow.
Next week will be 290. When was our 5-year anniversary?
Right after the 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the date? Did we figure that out? How many episodes is 5 years?
It was back in January.
Okay, it's back in January. Okay. Well, I'd like 300. 300 is a big round number. Sounds good. So we'll have to do something special for that. We'll also have to do something special for our 17th anniversary. I don't know what yet, but like something, maybe rent out the Wyndham Garden or something and have a big feast for the fam. Have some people fly in town, maybe have a speaker, something, bring Erico, Tim Brown in or something. Have a real blowout bash for the family, the team, our significant others, aunts, uncles, brothers, all that good stuff. So anyhow,
Like a conference hoedown.
yeah, like a little conference, a little celebration, 17th. I mean, 17 years. I can't believe it's been 17 years already.
That's almost like old enough.
Yeah, but yet still like, man, I'm still learning so much. Man, I thought a couple times there, I thought I had it, starting to figure it out, get it dialed in, and then something, usually an outside situation kind of veers its ugly head, or, there's a lot of people involved, and that's why there's what's called human error. When there's a lot of people involved, there tends to be some errors that happen. And man, it's tough to find grace, but we have to do that. Anyhow, last couple of weeks, we have been talking about amplifying your brand, developing your company's culture through leadership, creating lasting authority. John, what are you looking at?
Vic.
Okay. While expanding your market presence and the 7-part framework that helps you connect with homeowners, build trust, and serve more homeowners. Today, we have our very own, known this guy for a long time, longer longer than I realized until he reminded me of something where I first met him probably 20 years ago. But our very own Google Johnny, aka GJ. John, welcome to the stage.
Hello, everybody. I'm so glad to be here because I love these people.
Just love it.
Love them.
And you're happy
Yes.
to be here.
You are.
No, that's good. I'm glad you're here. And I think I've learned so much from you over the years, and you've helped push me, motivate me to want to dive deeper into brand awareness, marketing, omnipresence, all these things that, I picked up and got inspired and was inspired to learn more about. And we met each other, I think, at if my memory serves me correctly, from a conversation that we had not that long ago, actually, where you reminded me that I attended a Chandler event or conference or something. I don't even remember.
Yeah, there were 2 events.
Was there?
Sort of the ERN and Sandler training.
Chandler training?
Yep. You were a guest of Jack
Oh, Jack Lair.
Lair.
Yeah. So I've known Jack for a long time too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who we actually still do business with today, which says a lot about him and myself and you, because a lot of people, I don't think a lot of people can actually say, can you, how many people can you count that you've actually had true relationship, partner, friendship, 10 plus years outside of your wife?
I think it may have happened 3 times. You would be the most recent.
Right. And I don't know why that is, but there's quite a few people that we've been in business with, have done business with, partnered with. I heard that a long time ago, and I strive to make sure that happened. But definitely, you're one of them. Jack Lair's one of them. Eric Brewer, friend, mentor. Jack, same thing, friend, mentor. Do a lot of work for him.
Yeah.
And Vic, I've known for a long time. I'd say over the past 5 years or so, we've grown a lot closer. Same with you and myself here, John. But anyhow, not to continue down memory lane, but to bring you in the fold on the last 2-3 weeks worth of topics here. I thought we could talk about websites and maybe Google a little bit, because you're my dad. I think he coined your name, Google Johnny, GJ.
It's transitioning, I think.
From JG or G.
I don't know. It's just like the world's moving sort of off of Google and into AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that a little bit. What's been your experience, probably more recently than anything, as I know you've been diving a lot into this AI, artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So give us something most recently that you've discovered that could potentially help someone who might be listening.
Sure. Been using AI tons every hour for the last month.
Really?
Yeah. And helping me be more productive and create things faster. Just yesterday, I created an entire song.
Whoa.
For your father.
Really?
For
Like a jingle.
For Monterey Pass Steakhouse.
Okay.
It took me 2.5 minutes.
Whoa.
Which is a quite abbreviated time frame for, when I created the TC Backer jingle.
Yeah.
That took about 2.5 months.
Might have been longer.
To lay the tracks and record it and do the parts and all
Yeah.
the stuff. But, I went to songer.co, put in a description as garnered from Bob's script of offering steaks and seafood and sandwiches and whatnot in a warm pub atmosphere, and put all that in. I said, well, let's make it an anthem style country. And then the minute clock ticked by, and boom, there was a whole 3.5 minute song. Blew my mind. which was good. Although I have discovered not just cool things that you can do that are more fun than productive, maybe, but just the diving into our story brand style 7 component narrative frame structure for how to speak to your customers and engage them. That's been super helpful.
So what you're saying is it has helped the velocity, your workflow velocity, right? You're able to get
Way.
more accomplished in a timely manner.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you created this jingle or song, was it like one and done? Were you able to edit it? Like, did you need to edit it? Was it?
I didn't edit it, except for there was a glitch at the end. I had to fade out because of
Okay.
a technical issue, but they indicated that I can get it resolved. I have to find out if they're going to respond to me today.
Oh, okay.
Since I did this yesterday.
Okay. Okay.
But,
Cool. Okay.
Was
Yeah.
not able to edit it directly after the fact and fix it. They said, well, you can generate another song if you want. It's like, well, I really like what happened.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, that's good.
yeah, sure.
No, it's good. Okay. So outside of, you incorporating, AI into your workflow and speeding things up, when it pertains to marketing, okay, what are some aspects of AI that somebody could incorporate into their marketing campaign, their messaging, their, blog post writing? Like, give us some pointers or experiences, probably more so on that aspect of AI. Like, if you're not doing it, you're going to be way behind. And I honestly believe that, unfortunately or fortunately. I mean, I guess it's like when Google came out, like, it's just normal now. Like, I can't live without Google or Siri. Like, hey Siri, how do you spell? Or hey Siri. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe if you're not going to jump into AI, if you're a business professional and you're avoiding it, probably it might be good for your mental health, maybe, but your professional career may suffer dramatically. I think if you're not engaging with using AI as a strategic thinking partner, don't let it dominate your mind, but use it for productive, strategic use. You're going to be much more promotable. You're going to provide much more value to the company that you're working with, customers that you might be working with. And if not, you'll be sitting on the sidelines watching what happened to the rest of the world as they moved forward.
And what are you speaking of? What do you mean when you say that?
Well, I would say like just today, Dave Grove, Security Fence, presented at ERN's networking meeting this
You
morning.
know how I feel about that.
I know. Done. Yeah.
Fired.
After last night, we got to
Fired.
yeah.
Okay.
So we'll tell you about that
Yeah,
later.
we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. But he put together his presentation on AI with using one of the popular presentation makers, Gamma, dot whatever, GAMMA, helps you make a PowerPoint.
Wow.
You can just tell it, hey, make me a PowerPoint about my product.
And is that AI
Yeah.
driven,
Oh, yeah.
powered?
Yeah.
Okay. Gamma.
And it put together a beautifully fleshed out PowerPoint presentation with images and bullet points and the whole schmatz. He loved it himself. Again, it's something that would have taken hours, if not days, to compile manually. And it was done in a matter of about a minute.
Wow.
Probably, I mean, he might have spent 5 minutes, could be 10 or even 15, putting in whatever outline or instructions he might have input. But you'd probably do well to learn how to communicate with the likes of ChatGPT, where based on the questions you ask, you can really develop some great results. From a book I read about how to communicate with AI, says use it as a strategic thinking partner where you can ask AI to interview you and ask you questions to determine what challenges you're facing and how you might want to some guidance on pointers on how to solve them, etc. And it's to the point where you can say, hey, I have a presentation to make to a board of directors next week.
Mhm.
And I want to know, the owner of the company usually has some tendencies, what they're looking for in a proposal, presentation, and interview me to find out what I should be asking or what questions I can answer ahead of time. And they said you can even go through each board member personality style and ask what questions are they typically going to ask. And the AI will come out. Quote from the book was it's a 96% accuracy rate in this one exercise where the presenters knew and presented answers to the questions before they were even asked, nailed this thing, got the job. And, it's just some kind of an incredible advantage that you wouldn't have normally been able to come up with on your own.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that. So it takes an average person and turns them into a freaking genius.
yeah,
If you know how to use it
sure.
and prompt it and ask it the right questions and things like that. So couple questions here. First one I wanted to ask you a while ago is like, if somebody hasn't, really dabbled with AI yet, like where do you think they should start? Like, what should they do?
I would send them right to Chat GPT. I think it's a address on your website. Browser might be OpenAI dot. I don't even know what the address is. I haven't saved on my laptop.
Yeah. Well, something would probably pop up, I would imagine, pretty quickly nowadays.
Yeah.
And I know Google's kind of leaning towards AI as well, too, especially if you ask it something, it kind of gives you the AI version of it. So there's multiple platforms or places to find, there's the open Chat GPT, and you were talking about the Gamma. I actually seen that. I think it was a Facebook ad or a campaign or something that I saw. But I know Google now has Gemini or Genie.
Yeah,
Gemini?
there's Google Gemini,
Google.
Microsoft Copilot,
Yeah.
Perplexity.ai.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's many places to find it and use it and utilize it. So from your experience, my second question here that was going through my head when you were talking about like the 96% accuracy, from your experience of using it, right? How accurate has it been?
Well, it's been on point most of the time. I have discovered a flaw where I caught it lying to me.
Ooh.
And I thought, wow, this is the end of things as we know it.
Mm.
And I actually recapped it here for our conversation
Ooh,
today.
let's hear it.
Well, I had Freddie Boom Boom Murphy, young fella who used to attend our band practices, a drummer.
Mm-hmm.
He would watch practice, and he contacted me decades now later saying, hey, I wrote these lyrics from a girl. And, he's a drummer, so he has absolutely no musical talent.
Whatsoever.
None.
Yeah.
I mean, it's my drummer joke.
Right.
They don't know notes. They just know hits.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Beats.
So he said, hey, you wouldn't consider putting together some chords and melody for the lyrics I wrote? I thought, yeah, sure. I'll take a week or 6 out of my life to help you with this project. Bleep. Chat GPT kicked out chords over the lyrics and, made this rock ballad in the style of Scorpions and spit it out pretty good. Then Chat GPT started offering me, it sounded pretty excited. Like, this is really a great lyric. We're going to rock this thing and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And it said, would you like me to produce an audio demo that has guitar, drums, bass, harmony vocals, and the whole bit? And, I said, sure, great. And it said, I'll send you the full demo, MP3, instrumental, tab, chord sheet, and download links shortly.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, wow,
This
thing's come a long way.
Yeah.
Because this wasn't available, heck, a month ago or a year ago or at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there waiting, going, this will be something.
Mm-hmm.
About 15 minutes goes by and it's still just sitting there spinning. I was like, I checked in and went, where you at? Anything?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's just, rounding out the guitar solo now, working on this. It's really going to scream. Okay. 15 more minutes. Goes by, I check in again. Same kind of crap. Well, it's almost there. We're almost home.
Mm-hmm.
Just rounding out the harmony vocals. And then I started digging more like, how long is this going to take?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's pretty complex. So you might need to give me 24 hours.
Whoa.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
I come back the next day and it was the same kind of crap about, well, it's almost there. Still working on it. And then I had to hammer it harder and say, you're really not going to do this, are you? I called it out. I said, how much longer? Is it ready? So are you lying again? Or, I said, admittedly, I have a recap of the conversation, which took a couple, 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And it's acknowledging that the problem, this was false because I cannot generate or send audio files or downloadable sheet music from this environment. That was the first overpromise.
Whoa.
So I called it out again because it said, but what I can do is this, or this, and that would take me a little bit. And then again, chat admitted that I can't generate or upload audio files directly within this environment. I overpromised. That's on me. I gave you the wrong impression. So I said, so you lied. Yes, I lied, not intentionally, but it was still a false statement. And that's definitely a lie.
Oh.
Or that's the definition of a lie. And I said, were you programmed with the ability to BS? No, but I can fall into patterns of overpromising in an effort to be helpful. I said, well, you mirrored human BSers very well. So I thought, like, holy crap, this thing's acting like it's programmed almost like a human. They bullshit you.
Yeah. That's pretty scary.
Yeah. And I said, how would you feel if you were me? Should I trust you anymore? If I were you, I'd feel betrayed and frustrated. You were right to lose that trust, but I want to rebuild it.
Wow.
I said, how can I lie-proof future chats? And said, ask about capabilities up front, request output format, challenge timelines, and watch for vague enthusiasm. There was one point where it said, I got excited about what you were doing. And, I said, are you programmed to bullshit? And blah, blah, blah. I said, well, I'm programmed to keep you engaged. And I thought, okay, for the sake of you keeping me engaged, you're willing to say things that aren't true. So you're bullshitting me just so I stay involved in the chat. So that was a pretty disturbing discovery.
Yeah.
I thought, well, there's a flaw in the frickin' matrix. So the ship's going down.
Yeah. It makes you wonder what else it could lie about. And, when you start to build, like if someone's falling into this AI rabbit hole, and they're completely, and I could really see how somebody could fully just trust it and use it in just about every aspect, depending upon their profession or even in your personal life, and get caught up and start believing the stuff.
Yeah, they refer to these things as hallucinations.
Yeah.
That, AI can have hallucinations where it provides the wrong information because like AI is just absorbing everything that humans feed it. And I suppose doesn't decipher which is bullshit and which ain't.
Wow.
So,
well, how can you avoid that?
Well, they recommend that you ask AI when you're doing something critical, ask it to cite its sources and explain why it came up with the answers that it did. So I'm often challenging the heck out of it to say, where'd you get this? What'd you come up with it? How is it? just what other areas might be hidden discrepancies or, falsehoods perhaps.
Wow. I think it's a good thing that you experienced that
Sure.
earlier on, you know what I mean? You know what to look out for, the telltale signs that it might be joshing you or over promising and things like that. I honestly wouldn't have expected that. I mean, especially this early in the game, but I couldn't imagine that I'd be able to write you lyrics and write lyrics. Yes. But like come up with sheet music and I have no idea. I haven't, I've used it. Trust me. Like Brian Good said on here, he uses Fathom, utilizes that, the note taker and stuff like that, which I actually enjoy that because if there's some meetings that, Zoom meetings or Google Meets and stuff like that, I actually go back through and I read the notes, especially meetings that I wasn't able to attend and stuff like that. And I guess I'm throwing this out there. Like you need to be careful with that too. Like if you're talking shit or,
I had that exact conversation this morning at ERN. We were talking about things we may have learned recently and how we get to learn them.
Yeah.
And then AI came up and I said, watch out. There's another pitfall to watch out for. I said, if you're doing those meeting recorders like Fathom, that give a transcript, I said, be aware they'll send a transcript to everybody that's in the meeting after the meeting's over. I said, if you might catch yourself talking about somebody who's late, they're going to get the report.
Right. Yeah.
So you watch yourself there, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Funny.
No, but it's good. It's great for note taking because, there may have been some topics too that came up and I love how it kind of breaks it out per individual in bullet points, certain aspects of the conversation and stuff like that. It really kind of just cleans things up, cleans the meeting up.
Nice summary and action steps that you need to be taking.
Yes.
John said he was going to investigate the
right.
report.
Yeah. And I got to get used to utilizing that more often and things like that. But, it's very interesting how it in such a short period of time that it is involved. And Vic commented in here too, where, he uses it in, assisting him and getting things done quicker. And I think where Vic is at, and, I'm probably putting words in his mouth, but not that he doesn't know how to use it, but I think his research, there's so much in capabilities that it does, and I think he's really starting to dive deep and hone his talent into, creating voiceovers and different settings and backdrops and cleaning up, just things like that and just making it a lot quicker. Cause I know he used to manually do a lot of the shorts and the reels, and not that he still doesn't do that stuff. And when I was thinking and when I was talking about like the editing, like editing that song that you did, I know for a fact that Vic has to edit every single one just because it's not to his liking, any reel or any type of content that he puts out there. But it is definitely fast forwarding that process and making it a lot quicker to bust out a lot better content. Whether it is for, podcasting or advertising for your company. We did some scripting yesterday and took some shots and stuff like that. And, I'm super excited to see how that stuff's going to turn out, So when I was asking you those questions earlier, like if you're not using this, I don't even know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars that it could potentially save a person in the position that we're in. Okay. Of outside, hiring like a complete dedicated team to editing and videotaping and audio correction and like all of these things. Cause I'm guilty of saying ands, cause sometimes I'll say something to Vic. Hey man, can you take that weird, whatever slur or whatever out of it? And of course we go live all the time, but on the back end, he repurposes this and creates all different forms of content with it, whether it's advertising TC Backer from this podcast in terms of repurposing it, or the food drive stuff, or whatever, many ways that, a lot of different companies could use AI, because that's the thing. It's like, I feel like, when we're just recording stuff, because we do this live. I grew up basically doing live video content like this. So I think, because when we were recording things yesterday, Vic was like, "Man, you're pretty good at this." And it's kind of like, of course, he was probably just blowing smoke up my ass. But when doing it live, and then knowing that we can do as many takes as we want, recording it, and then he's going to run it through his machine, bust out however many reels or shorts, or and then be able to clean it up. It's like, I have complete faith, like, man, this shit's going to look good. It's going to turn out amazing.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Cause it still takes work. It still takes time to carve out that hour to create a commercial. And literally, he's trying to perfect these videos to be studio quality, commercial grade TV, type of videos that he's utilizing AI to perfect the sound, the lighting, how I'm speaking, how I look. You know what I mean? And I find it so fascinating. And I'm actually kind of grateful, because I know 5 years ago, dude, when we were doing those shows, when we were traveling, not even 5 years ago, but 2-3 years ago, when we were fully inundated with it, I'm thinking, we need 2 or 3 other people so Vic can chase me around with a camera all day. All right. But then we need 2 people back in their room, like chopping up the content and creating, little shorts, real short form content and stuff. So we can promote, not just where we're at, but like advertisements for Hook Agency. Right. So we could provide and offer, different marketing for our sponsorships and things like that. Well, long story short, that shit never happened. Like, it never happened. One, because I don't think for a fact we weren't utilizing AI back then. 2, I don't think AI, just that 36 months ago, I don't think AI had necessarily the capabilities that it does today. Obviously it doesn't, but there are many different facets or purposes that I really feel, as much and as painful and as scary. I guess that's what it comes down to. Fear of, like, oh my God, artificial intelligence is here, right? It's here.
Yeah.
And either we ride the wave or we don't ride the wave. And John, you and I had this conversation the other day. I got the privilege to listen to David Carroll. He joined in on one of our group chats with Eric O. And he was just going off the hook. About AI and the sophistication of it. And like, we should like seek a 30 young, late 20, early 30 person that does nothing but AI. Because, not that I'm trying to take anything away from you, but just somebody of that generation because
there's enough
there. That's where, where we're going, especially when it comes to buyer's behavior, creating an omnipresence, cutting the editing time in a fraction of the time with your content, because content is king. Let's bring that back around. Like, because I haven't heard that for a minute, you know what I mean? And Joseph Hughes coined the phrase, become 5 mile famous, right? And there's old tactics of guerrilla marketing that he's talking about, but he's also talking about social presence, social commerce, right? Because this is our TV today. This is our computer today. This is our search engine today. This is our GPS
and our AI.
Yeah, and our AI and where we can gamble, where we check our email. Well, I mean, just it's everything. Okay. So if we're not creating content to fit on this device that we cannot live without today, and it's again, it's like here we are again, like when the flip phone or the bag phones came out, people were like, oh my God, now we can, make a call from our Ferrari Miami Vice style, back. Well, now we have, think about it. I don't know if we were scared of it back then. I'm sure people were talking shit, but we didn't have social media, right? Where we can actually hear people talk shit or afraid of AI. It is what it is. And I'm sure you might be in a trade, you might be in a space or a season of your life where like AI may not pertain to it, but like if I don't know, like it just I'm leaning more and more towards it, or accepting it, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of high level stuff that we got to bang our heads together to, SWOT analysis. What are your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats? And it'll evaluate. You can encourage to especially use it to challenge your own biases. Like ask AI, here's something I want to know about or learn about or get some advice about. And then typically by the way you're asking for it, it'll feed you what you want. And then you have to go back again and say, yeah, but am I favoring one side or the other because of my own biases? Is that coming through here? Can you describe any other oversights I might be missing or, something that's hidden that I'm not thinking of, and just to keep challenging it to come up with the stuff that, you may be prone to with your own biases. And so, banging heads together on big company strategic thinking is a benefit that, I personally haven't really tapped into yet, just reading about it, learning about it, asking a little bit about it. But, it's have an AI party sometime soon. And say, what else can we make this, have this thing do for us?
Yeah. As rapidly as it's changing, where would you say would be the best resource for someone to get educated on AI? I know you mentioned a book that you read, but I would imagine I'm not saying that book's obsolete.
Could be by now.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? But like where can you get real time advice or tutorials or learning with AI today?
Yeah. Well, pretty high level, the book and website that goes with it, AI Leader, is a pretty good resource.
Okay.
Describes everything to ask, gives you prompts that you can use to get started in a more high level kind of way. You can join their community for $25,000 a year to be part of the top, C-level discussion group on how they're using AI to conquer challenges, et cetera. I'm not ready for that quite yet. I mean, $25K a year, when that's luxury money and a cheap change, I'll do it. But, I would recommend keep an eye on my son, Young Ty of Flash Avenue. He's putting together a free webinar for folks that spawned by the conversations at ERN with some of the folks there that said, well, I don't even know where to start. I don't use it. I don't blah, blah, blah. I use a CRM and I like zoomin.info that gives me information about who's who in a company. But so Ty's putting together a perhaps frequent or a regular free hour-long webinar that he's going to host and show cool tools, how to get started, provide some prompts that you can use to say, well, hey, ChatGPT, I want you to act as an interviewer and ask me questions about this or any situation. Interview me until you have enough information that you can determine what challenge I'm facing and how you might make suggestions on how to resolve it or
Wow.
have you. So
Oh, that's great.
if you're just getting started and have never even touched it, I would just go log on to ChatGPT and start asking it questions, or just say, hey, what do most people use this for? Where do I start?
Yeah.
And it'll answer your stuff and get you moving.
That's great. Oh, that's good. That's good. I like the idea of the SWOT analysis. I wrote one, and I'm curious what would happen if I ran it through
Yeah.
ChatGPT. I might have to do that this
I would
afternoon.
just copy paste that thing in there and say, shred this to
Yeah.
help, you know.
Right. Yeah. Or what am I missing? I like the
Yeah.
thought when you said that. Like what corner am I not seeing around?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, that's great. That's
And
great.
It's excellent at coming up with,
Yeah. Okay.
you know, based on all the other business in the world. They look at these things too.
Yeah.
You'll get that.
Yeah. No, that's great. Like, no, I know it's writing code now. And I think in that SaaS space right now, I think there's a concern of like code writers may become obsolete. But I mean, I don't think that's ever going to happen, because even though there's more coders than there probably ever has been, especially stateside. And who knows, they probably have been using AI to produce a lot of these codes. And
Well, they should be.
yeah, they should be.
Yeah, but the coders, they know more of what to ask for
Mm-hmm.
and what to look for and what to make sure it's working and to have it be the way they want it
Right.
than, you know, me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a deep dive coder, so I rely on other folks for that and perhaps AI for that.
Right. What's David Bruno? He said, when am I able to coach Ty and John for coffee or Marco's hot honey pepperoni pizza slice? Oh, catch. Okay. Said catch. Okay. Got it. What's that? Dripzilla.
Dripzilla.
Ooh.
Yeah, messing around with the 7 components of a narrative for TC Becker to remove all the noise from our messages to our potential customers,
Mm-hmm.
hone it down and refine it. I know we're both working at it at the same time and marrying them together. And, you know, one of the concepts in the story brand concept of the narrative, make a story for your marketing that has a character who is the hero of the story, which is your potential customer.
Mm-hmm.
They have a problem, identify the problem, and make it about them and their problem. Then they meet a guide.
Yeah.
Who is TC Backer. We're going to help you solve your problem. We're going to give you a plan, get an inspection, book your appointment to get your inspection, sign up for a roof.
Yeah.
We're going to help you avoid failure, you know, ruined furniture because your roofer leaked the whole way through your house. And we're going to help you garner success. Foundation is strong and your home secure.
Mm-hmm.
And the other component is you could consider having a villain in the story who the character has to overcome and battle. And for, you know, the roofing concept, I started playing with the idea of, you know, is there a villain style concept, whether it be, you know, just a leaky roof conceptually, or does it actually have some kind of a caricature identity that could be developed? So then I came up with taking credit for AI's work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I said, can you recommend a few? And it gave me a list.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, hey, Dripzilla, that's
Mhm.
pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I said, can you make a caricature for that?
Mm-hmm.
And boom, came up with, again, Dripzilla.
That's awesome.
So,
Love it.
you know, the next step, I'll be chopping that up, giving it to Vic. If it makes sense, you know, if we agree that, hey, we'll use Dripzilla as a villain for our marketing, we can chop that thing up and make videos of Dripzilla attacking the house.
No, I like that. I like
Then we destroy them, of course.
Yeah. Of course. Let the homeowner be, you know, the hero, more the guide. You know,
Well, and it goes against traditional marketing, like we learned back in Sandler training.
Yeah.
That most businesses talk about why they're sliced bread, why they think they're the greatest,
Mhm.
and it's all about us, and we provide the greatest service and the greatest stuff, and we're the greatest because we say we're the greatest.
Yeah.
And, probably not so counterintuitive today because of all the marketing and learning we've done over the last 2 decades.
Yeah.
But prior, it might have seemed counterintuitive to make your whole story, your whole marketing message about your customer and their problems instead of about how awesome you think you are.
Yeah.
So it lines up with that really beautifully. So
Mhm. Yeah. No, well, it positions yourself as the trusted local expert.
Yeah.
And that's and how you're here to serve them, and that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
When, like you said, with the Sandler thing, and I think it just kind of gets, and that's like a sales technique. Your website should be a 24/7, sales machine at all times, and not very confusing. And I think, at least from our experiences, like we have the opportunity to experiment with certain things. And I think we've gone through a lot of like experimental phase.
Yeah. I know I've gone astray on several occasions.
Yeah, over the years, which is fine, and you kind of get caught up in this pattern interrupt, but I don't suggest that for somebody getting started out. I think what needs to happen is keeping it, we've been talking a lot about, keeping it simple, talking about what it is that you do, how you can help, and basically jumping right to the point, how can we get a hold of you? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's really what it comes down to. Having that, that one liner that is really easy to remember for them, really easy for your team, that your team can remember, the sentence that describes what you do in a way that's easy and repeatable. And for me, I was guilty of like, man, we just want everybody to know, how involved we are with the community, and, which is great for a company that's been established for, 15 plus years. Right. But for a company that's trying to make their mark, in a new location or whatever the case might be, or you decided to branch out and do your own thing, I think the easiest thing that you can possibly potentially do is get with, obviously, a marketing company that is up to date on everything, right? AI, the story brand theory, being the guide, what you do, how the framework of your website, right? And know how people's eyes work. And I don't know if a lot of people don't know this, but a person's eyes, like when they scan a page or something, it goes in a Z shape or F. But I think in like the most important part, real estate on a page is the upper right hand or left hand. I think it's the upper left hand corner. Like that's like the most valuable, piece of real estate on anybody's website. So like make sure that there isn't something stupid that pertains to nothing relevant of what it is that you do or how you can help, like Dripzilla. You know what I mean? The color is easy on your eyes, right? It makes complete sense. The visual aid of like, yeah, man, like we're getting drips and I feel like we're being attacked by Dripzilla, right? That's plain, simple, to the point. And not that you don't want people to know what you do within the community, but it shouldn't be the main focus of your website. I mean, I think we kind of ran into that a little bit because we're very excited about things that we've done, things that we've accomplished and all that stuff. But basically, like, clear header, right? Value props, guide, plan, call to action, all those things. And outside of that, it's just noise.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I still got a lot of noise going. That needs
Yeah.
cleaned out.
I'm really surprised you haven't had AI create a new website.
Oh, it's coming.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's good. I think this is a good topic. I guess there's a small group of people talking about AI. I think this is probably one of the first, real deeper conversations on AI and many different ways and forms in which it can be used professionally, personally, all that stuff. No, I like it. I like it a lot. I'm a believer, unfortunately. I think my biggest fear is like, I don't want to rely on it solely where it's like, I can't think for myself and I go back to the days of like Garmin.
Yep.
Okay. Like when Garmin came out and GPS, I remember using a map, go into Rudders, Wawa, whatever over there. I don't even know if they still sell them or not, but there was a York County book, right? Find an address, figure out my route for the day. I got a service here, service there, and plot it out. And that's what I did. And I'd get lost and I'd have to stop and I'd have to pull over and I'd have to ask for directions and things like that. And it's like, now I can't even get across town. I swear to you, it's difficult for me to get across town without asking, hey Siri, dang it, I did it again.
Mine didn't work.
Give me the address to blah, blah, blah. Right.
Yeah.
So my biggest fear and still is, but I'm aware of it because I have experienced some form of, I don't know if GPS Garmin is a form of artificial intelligence or not, maybe probably. But it ruined me. I mean, spell check has ruined me, on my phone, just busting things out. I got spell check turned on. It's like, I've turned it off because like it's making me less intelligent, less book smart, less, not emotional intelligence, but shoot. Oh man.
Just regular old plain intelligence. Logical shit.
A lot of kids suffer from it nowadays is the being able to overcome objections. What am I critical thinking?
That part's gone.
Yeah,
Obviously.
like right. And I see that in myself where it's like, I'll just search it. I'll ask what's her nuts on my phone real quick to,
Yeah,
give
I
me
try to be cognizant of that using AI. I'm making reports, having it make reports, having it think.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
So that I'm still a little leery on that, because I like to write. I really like when I found myself in a good space this morning. And I wish I would give myself more time to do that. But I had said earlier to you that I came up with an SOP and based upon some of the topics that we've been talking about and framework and things like that. And I was really it felt good to, and of course, with the assistance of spell check and a couple other things, which has actually made me a better writer and faster, not get stuck, pull out the Webster, finger through a book, to figure out, is this the word that I want to use? Is this, do you know what I mean? I picked the phone up, I ask it, hey, give me another word outside of blah, 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 to use it. It is definitely, expound my vocabulary a little bit, and without that, I mean, I don't know if I would be where I'm at if it wasn't from the assistance of certain forms of AI, not necessarily the chat GBT, and I'm going to throw, I don't want to say her name. I'm going to throw her in the mix of, because I don't want it to speak to me. All three things light up when I say the S word. But it has really helped me. You saw, I helped a couple of people, co-authored in a couple books, and I used it to help me, you know, whether it was with spelling, whether it was what word should I use in place of, you know what I mean, certain things. And it went a lot quicker, you know, so I can keep that flow state going. I guess that's where I was trying to, that was my point was, you know, it's helped with my flow state to keep moving forward instead of getting hemmed up and then experiencing writer's block, because I suffer from short attention span. Like if I get hemmed up on something and I get a text message, game over. You know what I mean? Or a phone call comes in. It's really hard for me. So it's helped me really, you know, some of these tools and things, you know, so I'm guilty of not, you know, using it, which I should probably definitely use more often. AI, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My concern is the closer it gets, the closer it gets, the closer it gets. Everybody else is starting to use it. And I talked to Dave this morning, shared my concern that holy crap, if they connect our brains with Neuralink to this shit,
Which priority is happening?
I'm going to be talking to somebody else who's connected to AI, and I'm going to ask him, how are you feeling today?
Right.
And do I get an answer from him, or do I get AI's answer that he referred to? And, you know, by the nature of that, I think we're all going to lose our own identity over time.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that happening.
Well, especially if they do that scary Elon Musk Neuralink stuff.
Yeah.
Connect your brain to the commune of all other minds together with AI. I even asked AI to research the concept of it, where I read something along a couple of years back about how it was conjectured that much like amoebas, these single cell organisms, they biologically connected with each other to make one giant organism.
Whoa.
That could then, you know, the reason was for survival and reproduction, et cetera. I said, and that compared to, I asked AI to recap it for me, that how that compares with humans neurolinking together. And we have a hypothetical future of using brain computer interfaces like Neuralink. Individual human brains could be directly connected.
Mm-hmm.
Potential outcome, a metamind or collective intelligence, sharing thoughts, memories, and decisions.
Whoa.
The purpose, superintelligence beyond any individual human's capability, instant communication, problem solving, and innovation. That sounds great. Then I asked again, I said, well, what about if we include AI in that connection? And the wrap up is kind of the risks, loss of privacy. Your thoughts could be exposed or stolen. AI dominance. AI could subtly guide human thought or override it. Mental dependency, relying too much on the digital support, and identity blur. Where does you stop and we begin?
Mm.
So anyway, I just would imagine if we all somehow become connected and have this grand exposure of every thought I've ever had in my life is now available to everyone else in the world. To me, that parallels the judgment day, that in biblical sense, like you are going to be, you know, there could be this amazing transformation period as we all join together mindfully.
Mm-hmm.
That, wow, there's going to be a whole lot of frickin' probably like not just a 12-step experience of anger, frustration, hatred, and disgust and forgiveness and all the rest that goes with whatever it takes to go through stuff.
Yeah.
You know, just to learn everything about anybody and everybody. And they'd learn everything about me and everything I ever thought or did or that wasn't very nice.
Wow. Probably get locked up.
Wow. Yeah. I would think there'd be a frenzy for a bit until maybe the dust settles and there is one giant collective mind for the good of all.
No, we won't do that.
You know, I'm going to keep using it on my laptop for now.
Yeah, you do that. Anyhow,
yeah.
Vic mentioned in here earlier that he created a video of our food drive this morning. Didn't
Excellent.
Didn't use AI. He did not. use AI. So Vic, why don't you run that? Took him 3 hours. Well, it's too fucking long. So why don't you run that, and then we'll get wrapping this thing up. But before you do that, let's talk about yesterday real quick. Okay. So yesterday morning we did our, what annual is it? Like fifth annual food drive yesterday, which I think we outdid ourselves. I think we outdid last year. I haven't seen any final tallies, but I know from the amount of community support, local businesses, big shout out to DreamWorks and a few other, Valley Tavern, you know, and our team, just the outreach that it worked, you know, to try to get our team involved and kind of create like a little mini competition, and those that weren't necessarily participating in it jumped in, and big shout out to Amanda. I mean, I think we had over 1,000 pounds of food in our lobby out front here. And, outside of that, and the amount of cash that came in that we actually donated, like $1,000, there was $1,000 in cash left over. 250 of that was from DreamWorks. And so that was an amazing day yesterday, all together collectively. Was
Give it up for Jeremy and Zach and Bobby down in South Carolina, putting hers together, and, you know, driving everything.
Yeah.
To yesterday.
Yeah. It was good. It was great. 3 months worth of food is what they were speculating. That, and 3 months is a long time, considering the fact that the amount of people that come in there on a weekly, monthly basis. And just so everybody knows, this time of year is when most food banks run dry. Everybody likes to donate things over the holidays. Not that they don't need support and help, local food banks, but kids are out of school. They're not getting at least that one meal, sometimes 2 meals at school, you know, so food banks are really churning and burning through the donations this time of year. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of kids out there that are suffering from food insecurity. I don't remember the stats. We had the stats last year, but it was a lot. It's amazing here in the United States, the amount of kids that will go to bed tonight not knowing where their next meal is coming from. And that's pretty scary, and it sucks to even think about it. So I hopefully we can encourage other people to want to get involved. We dedicated ourselves to one particular food bank. We were, many years ago, we were kind of spreading ourselves all over the place, which is great. It's fine. But we really felt like we're making a bigger impact and at least putting a dent in it. But 3 months worth of food, it's amazing. So hopefully that'll carry somebody through till at least school starts. We'll do our 21 turkey salute, even though it's a one-day event. It might just be the meal somebody needs to gain the courage and the confidence and strength. Most importantly, the strength to go fill out that job application or whatever the case might be, right? For that one day hope, give somebody hope, right? That there is, you know, humanity in this world this AI driven world that we live in today.
It's still got people.
Yeah, there's still people out there. And then also we got to experience, you want to talk about what we were able to experience last night?
Surely. It's a supporting effort that helps us be able to keep serving our potential customers with their problems. The awards that we received from the Best of York and Hanover Community Choice Awards kind of goes a long way in helping us promote that we are a valid, solid resource to solve the problems of our customers. And we got an award for Best Roofer, Best Door Company. And another category we had been into there was the home repair and remodeling. So, we received
runners up for windows.
Yeah, runners up for windows.
Yeah, we're in top three for window companies.
Right. That's why our friends in ERN that we don't like them anymore.
Yeah.
Garrity Glass, they took the windows. Yeah.
Was it Garrity?
Garrity.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we don't like them.
Yeah, we don't like them anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Ern's done.
We'll hang out with them, but no, that's it.
Yeah, you can. Anyhow, so yesterday was an amazing day. I mean, all of, work that we put into the food drive. I mean, just to cap the evening off, the week off, the month off, to sit in that room with, I mean, the competition was stiff this year. I don't care what anybody says. I'll be honest with you, I was a little nervous. And then we were also put in some categories that we've never been in before in the top three. I won't mention them.
I might.
Just cause, but what an amazing experience yesterday was, like, to sit in that room with the best of the best, literally the best of the best in York County, Hanover, Adams, Franklin, all that. I'm assuming maybe it doesn't cover that far, but maybe it does. But it was like, the fruits of everybody's labor. You know what I mean? Because this has never been the I show. It's the we show. And again, we need to host our 17th anniversary, all encompassed achievements, have a slide deck just going of like all of the accomplishments over the years, and the appreciation to our team and the hard work. And I know sometimes, especially me, I get lost and forget, like, man, this is just really hard some days. But to experience what we got to experience yesterday, it brought it all back into, perspective again for me. I mean, it really did, and yeah, it's hard for me to want to go up on stage and gather those awards, right? I was just an idiot barking orders most of the time, and half the time probably not even the right orders. So anyhow, what a great, Vic, run the video that you made.
Every year, TC Backer Construction teams up with Dottie's Family Food Market to support the Well Food Pantry. And this year, for our 5th annual food drive, our community showed up strong. From the businesses who welcomed donation bins into their space, to those who gave generously, whether with food or funds, thank you. Your support helped us fill carts and stock the shelves for local families in need. At TC Backer, we believe giving back is part of building something bigger. And this food drive, it was a team effort. Thank you for standing with us and for showing what community really means.
Great job, everybody.
Yeah. Heartwarming.
That was involved, local companies, our team. Like, I just can't, I can't put it into words. I don't have the words to express my gratitude for everybody. I really don't. Jen and I were kind of beside ourselves when we got home, and we slumber. We have a slumber party every night. And during our slumber, it's like, wow, wow. Just come up with an idea and a thought, and to watch things unfold and come to fruition. It's amazing. So that's it. I'm going to end it there. I'm going to end it there. So if you're a contractor and you want to learn more, follow us on YouTube or Facebook. We're here every week. Vic's busting out the content. Anyhow, if you're a homeowner and your roof is old, leaking, or damaged, don't wait for things to get worse. At TC Backer, we've helped thousands of homeowners protect their homes with quality roofing, financing options, and a team they can trust. Want to take it to the next step? Visit our website or give us a call for a free inspection. No pressure, just answers. And remember, a solid roof isn't just about shingles. It is about peace of mind. Till next week. Hasta luego, my friends.
Thank you.